loss of a true hero whose name will forever remind us of the honor, the courage, and the strength of our police officers in the face of such senseless violence.
Fallen but never forgotten. Tonight we are learning more about the IMPD officer who made the ultimate sacrifice, protecting and serving the community. Police say Officer Breann Leath was shot while responding to a domestic incident on the east side. She was called to an apartment on Edinburgh Square near 21st and Franklin around 2:45 this afternoon. Investigators say Officer Leath and a woman inside the apartment were shot. The officer later died. Police say the woman is stable at Methodist Hospital. The suspect is in custody.
The woman behind the badge was a mother to a young son, a best friend, and a generous soul who stepped up to help when she met someone who needed a little kindness. Tonight, RTV6's Cameron Riddle is learning more about the Officer Leath and her courage and compassion.
Officer Breann Leath becomes the second woman killed in the line of duty under IMPD. Tonight, she is not only being remembered for the actions that took her life today, but the actions she took every day.
Today, we mourn the loss of a strong and well-respected officer. An officer that had a desire to be a police officer since she was a child.
That's part of the legacy now left behind by IMPD Officer Breann Leath, a Southport High School graduate, mother, and daughter of a sheriff's deputy and 911 dispatcher. The 24-year-old killed in the line of duty had been on the force for 2 years.
She's described as a dedicated officer who showed compassion for the community. She is the example of the type of officer we want on this department.
Officer Leath's compassion could be seen on a daily basis and was captured here on Christmas 2018 when she and another officer delivered Christmas presents to a family that had no presents under the tree. Serving and not turning away from people in need is what Officer Leath did in a number of ways.
That's because rather than turn away, Officer Leath turned toward the danger. She heard the call, and she went bravely toward that which could do her harm, because she knew if she didn't, harm may come to others.
Officer Leath leaves behind a young son. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogshead is asking every resident of the city to remember that sacrifice tonight, as well as keeping the members of IMPD in mind as they deal with the loss of one of their own. In Indianapolis, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
And as Cameron mentioned, Officer Leath is the second female Indianapolis police officer killed in the line of duty. The first was Officer Teresa Hawkins. In August of 1993, she was hit and killed by a drunk driver at East 36th Street and Emerson Avenue. She was also responding to domestic disturbance. Officer Hawkins had served with the police department for 5 years. She was 28 years old. A nationwide movement to light the night in blue took on extra significance in central Indiana tonight. Light It Blue recognizes those working on the front lines in the fight against COVID-19. But here in Indianapolis, the lights are also honoring Officer Leath. Several local landmarks are participating, including Lucas Oil Stadium, the IPL building, and the JW Marriott.
Our team coverage continues with RTV6's Cornelius Hawker. He explains what 2 different community organizations that support domestic violence victims are saying about this sad situation.
In the coming days and weeks, we will learn more from police about this tragic situation. But what we do know now is that Officer Breann Leath and her fellow officers were there at that apartment complex responding to some sort of domestic dispute. After hearing about this, the Domestic Violence Network released a statement saying, "Our thoughts are with the loved ones of Officer Leath and the entire Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department." Officer Leath died doing what so many brave officers do day after day, responding to calls for help from victims of domestic violence and bravely coming to their rescue. They go on to say they will honor Officer Leath by continuing to provide resources to the community and letting victims know they are not alone. I also had the chance to talk to Rima Shahed. She's the Executive Director for Women for Change, and their mission is to advocate for the safety and health of all women here in Indiana.
My heart and prayers go out to her family. The photo of the officer with her young son keeps popping up on my news feed, and it's heart-wrenching. She was providing for her family. She was out in the community protecting her community, and her life was cut short.
Whenever police give us any more information, we'll be sure to pass it along to you. Mark.
Cornelius, thank you. Just last week, we reported on the increase in domestic violence because of coronavirus outbreak. Now, if you or someone you love is in danger or in their home because of a partner, reach out to places like Beacon of Hope and the Julian Center. They are ready to help during this pandemic.